On today's episode of Dino or No, we're going to ask the question, is this a dinosaur? We all see them in the little bags of toy dinosaurs that we get, but is it a dinosaur? Let's find out. So, as we try to figure out whether or not this lovely beast is actually a dinosaur, we have to refer back to what we learned last time when we talked about whether or not Dimetrodon was a dinosaur. And we learned that Dimetrodon was not a dinosaur. So to figure out whether or not a pterosaur, like this Pteranodon, is actually a dinosaur, we need to go back to what we learned last time about the structure of the skull. And in things like fishes and amphibians, we have this brain case. Not Brian. Oh my gosh, I just wrote Brian. I'm not using my brain. And then we have this external helmet, which is structure on the outside. And then inside of here is the lower jaw. Okay, we're looking at this from behind. But what we have then is all of the jaw muscles connect either to the inside of this helmet or to the brain case. And this is true in fishes like our, I can do this, our gar here. There's the brain case, and here's this bony helmet, and the muscles would connect all on the inside there. But as animals got bigger and their jaws were more important for actually biting hard on things, this external helmet started developing a series of openings. And so we have a gap here, and a gap here, and a gap here, and a gap here. So if we looked at it from the side, we'd have, here's the skull, my really bad drawing of a skull. We have an eye. Here's the lower jaw, connecting up all of the teeth that connect. I put eyelashes on the eye. And then this external helmet may have some holes in it. So the brain case is still inside there, but these holes allow for the muscles to expand so they can bite harder. An animal that has the two openings, like for example this Sphenodon, I can pull this over here. Let's turn it this way so you can see it. It's in the same orientation. There's the Sphenodon. Here's this big old eye opening. Here's opening number 1, and here's opening number 2. And the brain case itself is this part right in the middle. So you can see that there's openings in this external helmet and behind the eye. That's what we call diapsid. And this is true for crocs and birds and dinosaurs. And thinking back to what we learned last week, if we look at something like this Dimetrodon skull, bring it over here so you can see it. This is the Dimetrodon skull. Here is the eye opening, and it only has one opening in its helmet. That makes it a synapsid. And being a synapsid is characteristic of mammals and a Dimetrodon, and excludes Dimetrodon from being a dinosaur. Alright, so crocs and birds and dinosaurs are diapsid. They have the two openings, just like in this Sphenodon we were just looking at. And as it happens, pterosaurs are also diapsids. Like, okay, well, if dinosaurs are diapsids, and birds are diapsids, and Sphenodon is a lizard and it's a diapsid, and pterosaurs are diapsids, then it's a dinosaur, right? Wrong. So, there's more. We're okay with this. We're going to close this up. Because there's some other things that happen. And that is another opening in the skull. So we're all looking at those there. But let's draw another skull. Let's see if Penny can do this. Here's the lower jaw. Here's the teeth. Yes, that's Penny's teeth drawing. Here's the eye with eyelashes. Here's an opening and another opening. And what I left out on both of these is there is actually an opening here. That's for the nose, because we have to have an opening in the skull for the nose. So they have a nose. That's good. So we've got eyes and nose. And then we have these two openings that make them diapsids. But there is something else. And this is true of dinosaurs and birds. So over here we're going to have dinos and birds. But not true of pterosaurs or crocodilians. And these openings are right here. We have an opening right here, and we have a little opening right here. Now these openings are right here. They're a convenient place. In the case of a dinosaur, it allows for some other things to expand into that space. But what we call this cleverly, and it really is clever if you know, actually, knowing some German helps this, but this one is called the Antorbital fenestra. Fenestra. Fenestra, or German, I think is Fenster. I think in, oh gosh, what is it in? I think fenêtre in French. It means window. All right. Window. Which is a fancy way of saying there's an opening, because windows are openings. Okay, so antorbital, just like antebellum, antorbital means the ant part means before, and orbital, the orbit, the eye, antorbital means in front of the eye. And conveniently, it is actually in front of the eye. So you have the antorbital fenestra. In the lower jaw, we have cleverly the mandibular fenestra. Fenestra. And we are used to thinking of the lower jaw as the mandible, so we've got a window in the lower jaw. These characteristics exist in dinosaurs and in birds, but not in pterosaurs or crocodilians. So those things actually exclude the pterosaur. Our friend, if you've seen Land Before Time, remember Petrie, because they have to pronounce the P. Petrie is a pterosaur, and because Petrie and this pterosaur lacks the antorbital fenestra, and the mandibular fenestra, it's not a dinosaur. So what we've learned is if we look at the skull of a diapsid, and Sphenodon here is a great example of that, and I love this little 3D printed skull. There's the eye, and here's one opening and another opening. So we've got an opening on each side. Oh goodness. If we look at this from behind, you can see here's the brain case. Let's see if I can find a pointer. Here's where the brain is, in there. And we have an opening here. We have an opening here. Those are our two openings. That's what makes it a diapsid. And it has a big eye hole. Now, Sphenodon does not have an opening. This little opening here is its nose. So that's the external nares. That's just its nose hole. It does not have an opening in front of the eye, the antorbital fenestra. So this is not a dinosaur. It's a diapsid, but not a dinosaur. It's also lacking any openings in the lower jaw. So no mandibular fenestra. So it's not a dinosaur. Your pterosaur also lacks those, the antorbital fenestra. This would be an opening like right here. That's its eye, poorly painted. It's lacking that, and there's no opening in the lower jaw. You can't see it because there's this fish blocking the view. But it is not a dinosaur. Dimetrodon, no antorbital fenestra. But that's okay. It also only has one temporal opening instead of two, so it's not even a diapsid. So, is Pteranodon, are pterosaurs dinosaurs? The answer is no. And now you know.